Elon Musk just went live with X Money internally. 600 million monthly active users, money transmitter licenses in over 40 states. Visa locked in as the payment rail. But here's what almost nobody in the financial press is saying out loud. The bank that processes every single dollar flowing through X Money has been running Ripple's protocol since 2014. That's not speculation. That's not a leak or a rumor from a source who asked to stay anonymous. That's a Ripple Labs press release. You can look it up yourself. Reporters have asked Musk directly about crypto and X Money. He dodged every time. He doesn't confirm, he doesn't deny, he just changes the subject. The infrastructure connecting X Money to Ripple's network is already built. The public confirmation isn't. And if you understand why Musk is staying quiet about this specific connection, you understand what's about to unfold across the entire payments industry. What he won't say tells you everything, and in this video we're going to connect the dots that most of the financial press isn't connecting, so you can see the full picture before the rest of the market does. My name is Max, and this is Max Invests. I break down how money and tech actually work so you don't have to dig through the filings yourself. We look at what's really there, not just the headlines and the hype. If you want to know how money moves behind the scenes, hit subscribe and like. It helps the channel more than you think, and it tells me you want more of this kind of breakdown, and stick around, because by the end, you'll see exactly why the banking partner Musk chose reveals a strategy he hasn't announced yet. Why that one bank out of every bank in America matters, and what it means for where money is going to flow next. Now, most people heard the X Money news in February 2026 and thought one thing. Oh, another tech company wants to be a bank. Twitter tried payments before, if Facebook tried payments before. Google has been trying for over a decade. None of them became the center of anyone's financial life. So the instinct is to shrug it off as Silicon Valley arrogance. Another rich guy with another big idea. Except this time it's not the same. And the difference isn't just scale. It's not just that X has more users. Every one of those previous attempts was missing something that X Money already has. Either they didn't have the licenses, or they didn't have the users who were already in the habit of being on the platform every day. Let me explain. When Facebook launched its digital wallet, they didn't have money transmitter licenses. They had to ask regulators for permission. Regulators said no. When Google launched Google Pay, they had the technology, but not the user behavior. People used Google to search, not to send money. The habit wasn't there. So when you hear someone say, oh, another tech company trying to do payments, remember that story. X Money is different for 3 specific reasons, and I'll get to the third one, the one that really matters, in a moment. And the third one is why I made this video. But before we get there, you need to understand the regulatory moat Musk has quietly built, because it changes the entire picture. And most people skip over this part because it's boring. Licenses, paperwork, state regulators. But this is exactly why X Money isn't just another failed tech payment experiment. X has secured money transmitter licenses in over 40 U.S. states. They're registered with FinCEN, that's the Federal Anti-Money Laundering and Counterterrorism Financing Registry. They've done the unglamorous, expensive, time-consuming work of getting legal permission to move money in almost every American jurisdiction. State by state, application by application, the states they're still missing include New York, Alaska, Delaware, Hawaii, Indiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Montana, Vermont, Washington, and Wisconsin. That's a short list, and most of those are smaller or more cautious on fintech. New York is the big one. In May 2025, New York State lawmakers urged the denial of Musk's application. They cited what they called a pattern of reckless conduct. But here's the thing. Even without New York, X Money can reach the vast majority of Americans on day one. And that regulatory foundation took years to build. You can't just buy it overnight. No amount of funding or talent replaces that grind. This is the part that separates X Money from every tech payment play before it. So keep that in mind as we go into the 5 pillars next. What I'm about to walk you through next is the architecture underneath all of this, and it's the thing that took serious research to map out. Pay attention, Because what I'm about to show you isn't in the headlines. It's in the filings and the press releases that most people never read. Let's break down the 5 pillars of X Money's infrastructure. Each one alone is noteworthy. But when you see how they connect to each other, a picture emerges that Musk clearly does not want you to see yet. And that picture is what makes this story matter for anyone watching where money flows. Pillar 1. The Visa Partnership. On January 28, 2025, X announced a direct integration with Visa through Visa Direct. This isn't a surface-level branding deal. It's not just a logo on a screen. Visa Direct is the rail that moves the money. Visa Direct enables instant wallet funding from any debit card, peer-to-peer payments between X users, instant bank transfers, and real-time settlement. That last one matters enormously. Real-time settlement means money doesn't sit in limbo for 3 days the way it does with traditional banking. When you send money through X, it arrives immediately. No waiting 3 business days. No wondering where your cash is. That might sound small, but it changes how people actually use the app. Linda Yaccarino, the CEO of X, posted about this on the platform in January 2025. She described X Money as a way to send money to anyone with an X account, fund it instantly with your debit card, and transfer to your bank. That's the Venmo functionality. But Venmo has around 90 million users. X has 600 million monthly active and 1 billion installed. Scale changes everything. Think about it. Venmo took years to get to 90 million users. X already has 600 million monthly actives, so the ceiling for transaction volume is in a different league entirely. Pillar 2. The beta rollout timeline. And this is where the urgency comes in. During the X AI All Hands presentation on February 11th, 2026, Musk said, and I'm quoting directly here, X Money has been running as a closed beta internally. Over the next month or 2, we plan a limited external beta and then a rollout to all X users. The goal is to be the central hub for all money and financial transactions. It's truly going to be a game changer. That's not a vague someday promise. Internal testing is already complete. The limited external beta is targeted for March to April of 2026. The global rollout follows right after, so we're not talking about some roadmap for 2030. We're talking weeks away from real people moving real money through X. That's why I said at the start that this is the story almost nobody in the financial press is saying out loud. Maybe you're thinking that's still just a promise. A lot of companies promise and then delay forever. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Lots of companies announce betas that never ship. Fair point. But Musk spent years and tens of millions getting those 40-plus state licenses. You don't burn that kind of capital on a feature you're not going to ship. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people who only watch headlines. But don't stop now, because Pillar 3 is the part most people never hear about. And it's where this story gets genuinely interesting. Pillar 3. Cross River Bank. Every digital payment platform needs a banking partner. You can't just move billions of dollars without a chartered bank in the middle. Someone has to actually hold the money, process the transactions, and interface with the Federal Reserve's payment systems. For X Money, that partner is Cross River Bank. Not a giant household name. Not Chase or Bank of America. But that's exactly why this choice is so revealing. And here's where it gets interesting. On September 24, 2014, Ripple Labs issued an official press release announcing that Cross River Bank was one of the first US-based banks to use the Ripple protocol. The exact quote reads, Cross River Bank is one of the first US-based banks that will use the Ripple protocol to offer real-time international payments between the US and Western Europe. 2014. Not last year. Not when X Money was announced. Over a decade of Cross River running on Ripple's infrastructure. So when Musk picked a bank to process every dollar for X Money, he didn't pick just any bank. Now, Musk chose this bank out of every bank in America to be the backbone of X Money. I need to be precise here because there's a critical distinction that most crypto coverage glosses over. Using Ripple's protocol is not the same thing as using XRP, the token. Many banks use RippleNet, which is a messaging and settlement network, without ever touching XRP as a liquidity bridge. Cross River could be using Ripple purely for its messaging layer. That's entirely possible. But here's what makes this different. Cross River isn't just any Ripple partner. It's now the payment processor for a platform with 600 million users. If X Money scales internationally, and Musk explicitly said the goal is to be the central hub for all financial transactions, then Cross River will need to process cross-border payments at massive volume. And the fastest, cheapest way to do that through Ripple's network is through XRP as the bridge currency. You need something that settles in seconds, not days. You need liquidity that's already wired into the system. That's not my opinion. That's the entire value proposition Ripple has been building for a decade. And Cross River has been a part of that build since 2014. The question isn't whether the infrastructure exists. It does. The question is whether Musk flips that switch. And that's exactly what he won't answer. So we're left connecting the dots from public filings and press releases. And the dots point in one direction. Pillar 4. The crypto question. Right now, as of February 2026, X Money's initial rollout is fiat only. US dollars through Visa. No crypto confirmed at launch. So if you were watching the crypto markets that day, you might have expected a spike. Maybe in XRP given the Cross River connection. Maybe in Dogecoin given Musk's history. Neither Dogecoin nor XRP moved significantly on the X Money announcement. The charts barely twitched. That tells you the market hasn't priced this in yet. Most traders and even most institutions aren't connecting these dots yet. And that's the part that should make you sit up straight. Because the market isn't seeing what the infrastructure is already showing. So if you're paying attention now, you're ahead of where the crowd will be when the headline finally drops. Pillar 5. The XRP ecosystem. Right now, XRP is sitting at roughly $1.36 to $1.40 as of mid-February 2026. That's down about 65% from its all-time high of around $365 hit in July 2025. Market cap around 83 to 85 billion, ranking 4th or 5th among all cryptocurrencies. So it's not some tiny altcoin. It's a major player in the crypto space. The SEC case is resolved. As of August 2025, XRP is officially not a security for public exchange sales. The legal cloud is gone. XRP ETFs have pulled in over 1.37 billion in inflows. RippleNet has over 300 bank partners globally. And Ripple itself raised capital at a $40 billion valuation in November 2025 from institutional names like Citadel, Fortress, and Brevin Howard. Let that settle for a moment. $40 billion. That's not retail investors getting excited. That's not a pump and dump. Citadel and Fortress aren't speculating on meme coins. They're not chasing the next Shiba or Pepe. They're betting on infrastructure, on the rails that move money between countries and between currencies. The same infrastructure that now connects through Cross River directly to Elon Musk's payment platform. So when you hear people say XRP is just another crypto, remember who's already building on that rail. If this breakdown is helping you see the big picture, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next time we connect the dots on money and tech. We do this every week, breaking down the stories that move markets before the crowd sees them. Now let me tie these pieces together because this is where everything shifts from interesting to potentially historic. Musk has a very specific playbook when it comes to crypto and its platforms. He does not announce crypto integration before the infrastructure is ready. He builds it quietly. He dodges questions publicly. And then he flips the switch when the ecosystem can handle the volume. He did this with Tesla and Bitcoin in 2021. He did it with Dogecoin payments on Tesla's merchandise store. He didn't tweet a countdown first. He didn't do a big interview saying, maybe we'll do crypto someday. He just built it and then turned it on. The pattern is always the same. Build the rails, say nothing definitive, then activate. No press conference before the infrastructure is ready. No hype cycle that fizzles out. Just build, stay quiet, then flip the switch. And right now with X Money, the rails are built. Cross River is the processor. Ripple is in Cross River's DNA. The regulatory licenses are secured. Visa is handling the fiat on-ramp. The only piece missing is the public announcement. That's it. Everything else is built. And Musk's silence on that topic isn't an absence of strategy. It is the strategy. He's not confused, he's not avoiding the question because he doesn't know the answer. So the real question isn't when will he announce? It's what happens when he does. Here's a hard truth. None of this guarantees XRP integration with X money. That's the honest reality. I need to say that clearly because a lot of people get overexcited and assume that connection means guarantee. It doesn't. Musk could use Cross River's Ripple connection solely for back-end messaging and never route a single transaction through XRP. He might never flip that switch. He could partner with a completely different blockchain for crypto. He could integrate Dogecoin first, which he's openly joked about, and leave XRP on the outside. But here's what the skeptics miss. They're looking at this as a binary. Does Musk like XRP or not? That's the trap. That's the wrong question entirely, because this isn't about Musk's personal preference. It's not about what he tweets or what he thinks about crypto. It's about infrastructure economics. When you need to move billions of dollars across borders in real time, you need a liquidity bridge. You can't wait 3 to 5 days for settlement. That might work for a wire or a check. It doesn't work for a global payment app. You need something that settles in 3 to 5 seconds instead of 3 to 5 days. You need an asset that's already integrated into your banking partner's tech stack. So the choice isn't really about what Musk likes. It's about what the system already supports. That's not sentiment. That's engineering. And the engineering points in one direction. That's why I keep coming back to Cross River. It's not random. It's not a coincidence. Consider the timeline. By mid-2026, X Money will be processing real transactions for potentially hundreds of millions of users. Cross River will be handling that volume. International expansion will require cross-border settlement. Real-time, low-cost, high volume. And at that point, the cheapest, fastest path through Cross River's existing technology runs through Ripple. That's not a theoretical possibility. That's how their system is built. Whether that means XRP as a bridge or RippleNet as a messaging layer, the connection is there. It has been there since 2014. So when people say there's no link between X Money and Ripple, they're not looking at the same filings and press releases I am. It's not a rumor. It's a Ripple Labs press release. Now, I want you to think about something. We're in the home stretch, and I've saved this for last because it reframes everything. If Musk had no intention of using this infrastructure, a clean denial would cost him nothing. One sentence. We're not integrating crypto. Done. But a denial takes a future option off the table. And if there's one thing we know about Musk, it's that he keeps options open. And Musk never takes options off the table. The dodge is the tell. And once you see that pattern, you can't unsee it. Here's the question nobody is asking, and it's the one that matters most. What happens to the price of XRP if Musk confirms even a testing phase of crypto integration through X Money? Not a full rollout, just a test. XRP is currently around 136, down 65% from its high, with the market completely ignoring the Cross River connection. If that single piece of information, that X Money's payment processor, has been running Ripple since 2014, breaks through to mainstream financial media, the repricing wouldn't be gradual. It would be instant. Not over weeks, not over months. In hours or maybe days. Remember the beginning of this video. Reporters asked. He dodged. The infrastructure is there. The confirmation isn't. That was the open loop. And here's where it closes. Musk isn't staying quiet because there's nothing to announce. He's staying quiet because the announcement changes everything. The moment he says, yes, we're testing crypto, or yes, we're considering XRP or Ripple, the market reprices. Instantly. And the infrastructure isn't ready yet for the demand it would create. So he waits. When X Money goes live to external users in the next few weeks, watch two things. First, watch the transaction volume through Cross River. That will tell you how much real money is actually moving through the system. Second, watch whether Musk's non-answers about crypto become slightly less non. Does he keep dodging the same way? Or does the language shift just a little? Because the distance between a dodge and a confirmation is one press conference. One interview, one tweet even, And 600 million users are about to find out what X money can really do. So the question for you is simple. Are you going to understand the story before everyone else does? Your future self, the one who positioned before the confirmation instead of scrambling after the headline. That version of you is counting on you to pay attention right now. To see the board before the move is made, not to gamble. Not to go all in on a guess. Not to chase a headline after everyone else does, but to understand the infrastructure, see the connections, and be ready when the signal comes. That's what we do on this channel. We connect the dots before they're obvious. X Money Visa, Cross River, Ripple, 40-plus state licenses, 600 million users. The pieces are on the board. The game hasn't started yet, but the players are already seated. Visa, Cross River, Ripple, 40-plus state licenses, 600 million users, and the next move could come anytime, maybe next month. Maybe when the external beta goes live and someone asks Musk again about crypto. So here's my question for you. What do you think happens next? Is Musk going to integrate XRP, Dogecoin, both, or neither? And what are you doing to position yourself before the announcement hits? I'm genuinely curious, so drop it in the comments. Tell me your take and what you're watching for. I read them, and I use them when I'm deciding what to break down next. So your opinion actually matters here. And if you want more videos like this, breaking down how money and tech actually connect, subscribe and hit the bell. That way you don't miss the next time we connect dots like this before the headlines do. This is the kind of story I'll be tracking in real time. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens next together on this channel. Thanks for watching and for paying attention to the details. I'll see you in the next one.